The Industrial Revolution was the process of change from an agrarian and cottage manufacturing economy to one dominated by industry and machine manufacturing. These changes introduced novel ways of working and living and fundamentally transformed society. This process began in Britain in the 18th century and, from there, spread to other parts of the world. The Industrial Revolution transformed economies that had been based on agriculture and handmade items into economies based on large-scale industry, mechanized manufacturing, and the factory system. New machines, new power sources, and new ways of organizing work made existing industries more productive and efficient. The Industrial Revolution is one of the most significant events in human history and had a profound effect on many nations throughout the world, and its impacts can still be seen in our lives today.
This is my hometown. It's called Youngstown, and it's in the state of Ohio near the Pennsylvania boundary. In Youngstown, we make steel. We make steel and talk steel. I guess it's the same in Sheffield, England, or that place the Russians built in the Urals, Magnitogorsk.
As an event, the Industrial Revolution had both positive and negative impacts on society. Although there were several positives to the Industrial Revolution, such as an increase in production, provision of a basic income, the rise in the middle and working class, and the increase in the amount of wealth produced, there were also many negative elements, including poor working conditions, poor living conditions, low wages, pollution, and the one that we are covering in today's video, child labor. Child labor is often defined as work that deprives the children of their childhood, their potential, and dignity, and that is harmful to physical and mental development. Work which is classified as child labor or work that is mentally, physically, socially, or morally dangerous and harmful to children, work that interferes with their schooling, work that deprives them of the opportunity to attend school, and work which forces them to leave school permanently. In today's world, there are many laws to protect children from child labor, with government setting the legal age in which a person below the age of 18 or 21 in the United States can work, and setting the amount of hours which they can work.
Right, honourable gentlemen, all up and then you put up taxes on inheritance and pensions and corporations.
In the early days of the Industrial Revolution, this wasn't the case, as child labor was seen as a necessary part of a child's life. During the Industrial Revolution, child labor was used as a way to get cheap labor, as employers would pay children less than the adults, while forcing them to work harder and for longer periods of time. Due to their small size, children were able to go under machinery and collect items which fell off, allowing them to be repacked and sent out. With these harsh conditions, children were exposed to various hazards such as black lung, body deformation, and the risk of crushing body parts or clothing and hair being caught on machinery. First, let's look at black lung disease. Black lung disease occurs when coal dust is inhaled. Over time, continued exposure to the coal dust causes scarring in the lungs, impairing your ability to breathe. In the mines, children would be exposed to coal and the coal dust from the mines. Over time, when children inhaled these coal particles, they would enter the lungs and, as mentioned before, cause scarring, hindering them from breathing correctly. This would lead to exhaustion and lack of oxygen, and with the work being done in these mines being labor intensive, this led to many children dying of exhaustion in the mines or breathing problems later in life. Next, let's look at body deformation. A lot of children working in the mines were under the age of 14, so their bodies were not yet fully developed. Over time, their body's formation will take place according to many factors. These children were lifting heavy machinery, made to stay in uncomfortable acrobatic positions, and risk the detachment of limbs and other body parts to do their job. All of this can and will most likely lead to negative outcomes such as the loss of limbs, musculoskeletal injuries like tears and sprains, scoliosis, arthritis, as well as internal defects such as low blood pressure, heart attacks, and others. Next, let's look at what would happen if a child were to get their hair or clothing trapped underneath machinery. With the Industrial Revolution came machines, and with machines came the increased risk of getting hair or clothing trapped under them. In the next clip, we will see the reaction of a woman who had her hair caught on machinery. Imagine what would happen to a child if his or her hair or clothing had got caught under machinery. That would not be a nice experience for them. The Industrial Revolution had many pros and cons, with one of the major cons being child labor. Although child labor was horrific and deprived children of their basic childhood, they taught us a valuable lesson. They taught governments and employers to begin regulation of the legal working age and ensuring that what happened during the early days of the Industrial Revolution will never happen again. Although there is still some signs of child labor in today's society, it is not nearly on the level that it was during the Industrial Revolution.